This is Transit 22.
What up, it's your boy 17.
Yo, what's up? I'm Z the Free.
What's good? I'm Entropy.
Yo, what up? I'm Yo J, and together we're whatever.
Yo, it's Young Pop Bonito. When you're listening to HipHop Xertified.
HipHop Xertified.
HipHop Xertified.
HipHop Xertified.
You're watching HipHop Xertified.
Alright, let's get it. What is good, HipHoppas? It is Esteban Xound here with another album review. Now, before we get into anything, remember as always to subscribe. Most importantly, listen, I want to shout out Kiara in Richmond and iLeak for recently subscribing to the channel. I appreciate it. Everybody who subscribed to the channel, I really appreciate it. That just helps support the channel, helps support HipHop Xertified, so we can actually get content to you guys directly. You know, if you guys subscribe, I really appreciate it. It helps support the channel and it helps get content to you guys directly. So with that being said, this is the Dizzy Wright Nobody Cares, Work Harder album review. Going into the album, I'm a casual fan of Dizzy Wright. Dizzy Wright has managed to carve out his own niche in hip-hop throughout the years. Whether it be the weed heads, the woke heads, or the hip-hop heads, Dizzy Wright has managed to stay relevant throughout the years by dropping consistent projects. Now, through his affiliation with Funk Volume, he's also managed to tap into that backpacker audience. My introduction to Dizzy Wright was the golden age back in, I want to say either 2013, 2014, 2015, I want to say somewhere around there. It's an album loaded with songs, yet managing to pull through with a handful of solid tracks. And then a few years later, Dizzy Wright drops The Growing Process, which I did a review on in 2015, which will be coming out in the Throwback series, so you guys will see that, just be patient. And then 2016 comes around, Funk Volume falls apart, and Dizzy Wright is left to his own devices. And he goes on to drop a project which I think goes against everything that Dizzy Wright stood for with the 702 EP. He tries to access into this contemporary trap sound that just does not fare over well, and I think it just, in my opinion, was probably his weakest project to date. And then a collab project with Demrick, a few moderate sequels, and another solid EP. Dizzy Wright was back on track. So now 2019 comes around and we have Nobody Cares, Work Harder. My first impressions, honestly, I thought this was a very solid project by Dizzy Wright. I had my expectations somewhat low on this project, so when I found a handful of tracks that I really enjoyed, I was more than happy. And after a few listens, I felt like we got everything we could ask for from Dizzy Wright on this project. There's motivational tracks, there's advice tracks, there's less weed tracks than I would expect, which might come as a disappointment for some people who really come to Dizzy for that. And then we get a compensation in relationship tracks, a skyrocket in relationship tracks on this project, and then a few hidden gems here and there. The one thing that Dizzy Wright pulls back from on this project that his earlier projects really had was this bitter rapper attitude that was laced in a lot of his older work. Clearly with this title, Dizzy Wright has come to a conclusion that nobody cares how lyrical or conscious you are in your music. You just have to work harder to get the results that you want. And it's a refreshing perspective. And honestly, it comes across through the messages in this project. And Dizzy Wright is one of the few artists that takes his platform to speak on positive content, and I appreciate him for that. My favorite tracks, Self Love is Powerful, the first track. Dizzy Wright hooks up with Mozzy to deliver a conscious message, reflecting on some of the ills of the black and brown community, and offers a few solutions over this very slow, soulful instrumental. Dizzy Wright has never known to open up his albums with a bang, which has been a complaint I've had throughout the years, but the messages is really what reels me in on this track. Number 2, Problems and Blessings. Hitting us back to back with very mellowed out conscious tracks, Dizzy Wright offers advice to the listener and himself to handle your problems like you handle all your blessings. A mantra that I think we could all benefit from if we actually put it into practice. So I appreciate the message on this track. Number 3, Grateful. Finally we get the shot of energy that this track or this album needed, with Dizzy Wright hooking up with Tech Nine and Euroz to deliver a flat out banger. Tech Nine delivers as usual, I'm the greatest, most underrated. And Dizzy Wright follows up with more braggadocio. The hook is passionate by Euroz. And over this modern production, it just sounds really well done. Number 5, Keep It 100. Dizzy Wright and former Funk Volume label mate Jarren Benton come together to separate themselves from the pack. This piano-led trap instrumental provides just another banger. Number 8, Check Me Out. This time with a heavy down south trap flavor. I mean, we got pianos, we got wah-wah guitars, we got, you know, Dizzy Wright's delivery. It's even very accentuated. And Dizzy Wright comes to flex and separate himself from other rappers. Something that he does a lot in this project. It's a bit of a repeated formula, but it works. Number 9, Melanated Kings. This is a true bright spot on this album. Listen, I fucked with this track heavily. Dizzy Wright takes on this almost Afro beat to create a hustler's relationship anthem. And even though the feature doesn't do much for me on this track, every time this shit comes on, I'm fucking jamming. This shit is hard. Number 10, Kill the Tension. This is the closest we're going to get to a weed anthem on this project, as Dizzy Wright approaches the topic with an almost refreshing perspective. Although I don't agree necessarily with the you know, the content saying that, you know, I don't think that smoking weed is gonna fix all relationship issues, but it sure as hell might help if the tension's high, so I get it. Number 12, Never Slip My Mind. A sweet relationship cut, as Dizzy Wright and Futuristic speak positively towards their partners. It's a nice positive relationship track. The sound is really easily accessible. It's a really easy listen. Number 13, Lay Low. One of my favorite tracks, as the opening lines really fucking relate to somebody like me. Lost souls still trapped in the system. Rent due, I can't afford to be late. Late fees hit it hard when the prices go up about 3 or 4 days. Hit me with the 5-day notice. They ain't notice that I'm working like a motherfucking slave. My paychecks get a little lower and I'm asking for more hours, but they asking like I'm asking for a raise. Over this really somber instrumental, you can really feel the low self-esteem that Dizzy Wright goes through on this project. Number 14, More and More. A track that feels more in pocket with the sound of the golden age, as the guitar riffs really create this laid-back West Coast vibe. And Dizzy Wright and Demrick deliver self-love motivational raps, and it fares over really well. Number 15, I Made Sure. Dizzy Wright hooks up with 2 indie kings to reminisce on their paths to greatness. Berner delivers his usual hustler raps. Dizzy Wright and Currensy look back at their decisions that ensured them that those following the indie path would have to follow their steps. And it doesn't come across as an old man start talking to his kids like, I made sure we did this. But it's well done. My least favorite tracks, Champagne Service number 4. An attempt for a fun, funky jam. I can appreciate the lighthearted spirit on this track. And sonically, in delivery, it's just where the disconnect is. It's a bit bland for me. Number 6, Slow Down. Another track that sentimentally I can appreciate, as Dizzy attempts to offer advice to a struggling woman that I'm sure was in his life. And again, just sonically, it's just a bit too pop for me, as this guitar-led instrumental really just does not do much for me. Picture Perfect number 7. My gripe with this track is a bit more of a personal taste issue, as these types of glitzy R&B tracks really just aren't my MO. And then number 11, Period. Now Dizzy Wright and Reezy have collabed before, so we can expect trap sounding music on this collaboration, but it just reminds me of the 702 EP, and I just was not fucking with that album or that EP, so wasn't a fan of this track. Honestly, mostly just the tracks that sound really accessible, not really my favorite tracks. Overall, the album is a bit of an up and down journey, with the majority of this consisting with true highlights. Whether it be the continuous conscious content, a bunch of bangers, or a groovy tune here and there, the album, it has something to offer. And I feel like the casual listener could pull a handful of tracks, and the dedicated fans are going to eat this up. If you're watching Dizzy Wright, I would say continue to deliver conscious raps in your music. As much as you may feel that it's underappreciated, true hip-hoppers like me enjoy hearing this kind of content. And keep collaborating with underground indie contemporaries and indie kings. We get some of your best tracks when you collab with people in your own lane. And then keep pushing yourself to sonically with tracks like Melanated Kings. That shit was a curveball. And if we got like 2 or 3 more tracks like this, I feel like this album would be fucking great. So keep pushing yourself sonically as well. If I was to give this a rating, I'd give this a 7 out of 10. And is this hip-hop certified? It is definitely hip-hop certified. It gets the stamp. So with that being said, that's all I got to say in this one. Hope you guys enjoy the review. I know it's a bit overdue, but I had to get it out to you guys. And I'm out to y'all. Yes!